Welcome to Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her guests bring you insightful conversations to awaken heart and soul consciousness. Come journey with us exploring the meaningfulness of astrology's energetic cycles and get ready to understand your path in the cosmic roots of the stars.
Hello everybody, I'm Sue Minahan. This is Talk Cosmos, and today is supposed to be June 14th. However, just in transparency, this month is a little wonky, but then when you start looking at all the aspects, it is a little bit fresh, new. And the point being that there's vacations, and so we're pre-recording. Not too much ahead, but still a little bit ahead in case something really comes up. But we are still talking in depth about the planets that stay on target, and that is the moon, the new moon in Gemini, and the full moon in Capricorn. It's another very insightful combination, clear thinking perhaps. That could be our best factor, and we'll find out. Amanda Pierce is about to join me, so thank you. We're ready now.
Talk Cosmos explores the journey from the dark new moon to the full moon's blossomed brilliance. In this second week of the month, we look at the moon, our emotional anchor, as this personal planet weaves the past into the present through our memories, feelings, and habits. To decode this month's lunar beats shaping our world, let's meet the astrologers who will connect the moon's emotional story to our lives here on Earth.
I'm Sue Rose Minahan, founder of Talk Cosmos since 2018. I'm an evolutionary astrologer, consultant, speaker, writer, vibrational astrology student, Dwarf Planet University graduate, Kepler Astrology Toastmasters Club charter member. I have a fine arts music degree plus a certificate in jazz. I'm an artist, musician, and certified color energy life coach. Especially, I love mythology and esoteric philosophies.
I'm Amanda Pierce. I'm a soul-centered astrologer, blending intuition into my practice. I believe the universe is always working for our highest good and seek to empower my clients in our readings. I teach a 4-week series of empowerment-based meditation classes that connect you deeper into your own intuition and innate power. I work in communications with a passion for employee experience. I also have a BA in psychology. I'm passionate about healing and enjoy helping others create new realities and shift old paradigms.
And like the Sufi poet Rumi says, you are the entire ocean in a drop.
Hi, Amanda.
Hello, Sue. Nice to be here with you.
It is. Summer is so near. I just feel in the weather, and here we have the new moon in Gemini. And it actually, I believe, is on the 14th. Let's find out. It is. It would have been quite exciting, and it still is. It's on the 14th of June at 24 degrees and 3 minutes in Gemini. And the full moon will be in Capricorn. We're like in a quincunx all year long. You know, it's not a polarity point, which is fascinating, I think, because we are adjusting so much with emotional stories, and you know, it's the moon.
Well, and it's a fire horse year, so things are moving so fast. We don't even have the time to adjust. We're just like going through it, and the best we can do is really just kind of surrender to the process of it.
That's a very good word, surrender. I agree with that. And in doing so, I'm learning to just let go a little bit of that South Node Virgo of wanting to fix it or worrying about whether it's enough. Just like, you know what, I think it's going to be okay. Yeah. Learning that it's really okay, you know, not to get on my case because maybe I didn't do this or that or something. Well, that full moon at 8 degrees early in the first decan in 15 minutes at Capricorn is going to be at the very end of the month. It's a packed period of time after the solstice, and we'll find out a couple of other really strong transits happening that are just on that day or the next day. So that's the 29th of June. We have the 14th and the 29th with the solstice right in between. The moon, love it, is out of bounds for both of them, and significantly 27 degrees and 58 minutes. That's almost 28 degrees because it has to be within 23. So it's like, approaching 5 degrees out. So if you look up at the sky, you'll see other planets in line, and then boink, there's the moon. It looks like it's on left field or something. Yeah.
I like this out of bounds new moon in Gemini because the new moon being in Gemini, it's in the same sphere as Uranus. They're in the same sign together. And so it's this Uranus energy is electrifying anything that comes into its orbit. And so being with the moon out of bounds, it's not playing by the same rules that it typically does. So we can have like great big downloads come forward.
Ooh, that sounds very empowering. I like that very much. We are on a couple of retrograde shadow paths. Uranus, which I learned, I had not really fully realized, that it at best has 3 days, which it did this year, that is totally out of shadow, but often just one. So it's definitely back in its shadow, meaning we're preparing for something, and it doesn't matter because Uranus is going to provide things at the moment when it does. And we'll just learn next time how to deal with it even more so. And then Pluto is retrograde, which it has been. Will be all summer. So that's the outer planets that are happening. But Uranus actually goes retrograde in September. So in the fall, things will start shifting retrograde again. Oh, now why is it not? Aha, I have a monitor. I'm learning, folks. Okay, the Sabian symbol. Thank you. 25 degrees because it's always one more. Now, this was interesting. It's fun to look at the graphic first, but it's trimming a palm tree. And with that, it's this idea. She represents all the ideas and does it look good enough? It's not necessarily the she versus him, but it's that type of involvement. So a man trimming palms, and it's self-improvement, it's social appropriation. In other words, how does it fit with the culture around us? Otherwise, people would just let their trees. Well, except that the fronds, I'm sorry, I'm keep going. The fronds do fall, and they are heavy if they get very tall. Go ahead.
Yeah, and this is the Sabian symbol for the new moon itself. So this moon in Gemini. And, with Gemini, there can just be so much information coming in. And I mentioned, it's in that sphere of Uranus and Gemini as well. So there is potential for a ton of information to be coming at us. And a man trimming palms symbol is kind of indicating that we're going to need to have some discernment around what information we allow in and what is worth kind of seeding this period, because the new moon is a seeding period, right? Yes. So we're mentally seeding this new phase for ourselves, and it's up to us to kind of discern what we want to take in and what we want to run with.
It's empowering, isn't it? It just sounds excellent when you realize that you're not the victim. It's because you get to choose. So
yeah, you're the hero of your own story, right?
Yeah. This is a graphic, and it does indicate that the twins, Gemini Castor, the mortal, and immortal Pollux, are the Gemini twins. And over here, but the moon and Mercury are in a great, what they call mutual reception. And that's where each one is in its native natural sign, the other one. So there is some kind of understanding. And the way I was thinking of it is that Mercury is, Mercury is in Cancer. So she's excited about stories and telling ideas and creating the story. Whereas the moon in Gemini is, moons feel, they sense, they're compassionate and nurturing. And so they're feeling the story and really listening. Got ideas there on that?
Yeah. I mean, it's a very there's a strong feeling tone to this Gemini new moon phase, where the moon is supporting the emotions are supporting the thinking, and the thinking is supporting the emotions, and they're kind of just flowing together and supporting each other. And so look at what feels good in terms of the thoughts that are coming in. What is feeling good to you, and what are you drawn to, and maybe run with that.
That's what Wayne Dyer says. He says, just get on the trolley and go, I'm feeling good, and go.
Yeah.
That's good, Amanda. Here's a chart, and it's all below. This is according to the East Coast, where we are one nation, and Canada too shares East Coast capital. And therefore, but it's all underneath. And amazingly, once again, the ascendant is 0 degrees Aquarius. I think last month we had one that caused some confusion with one show, but it because they were all 0 degrees, the angles. But here, so Pluto is right there in the first house, but there's quite a few conjunctions.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned the ascendant being in Aquarius, because that is, the modern ruler of that is Uranus. So again, Uranus is coming forward. It's a big piece around our thoughts and our thinking, and where we want to take that this coming month.
And changing relationships, just looking at JUN or contracts, changing, transmuting.
Pluto and Juno are still conjunct, and we're still evolving our relationships, and in that Aquarius energy of let's do something a little bit differently than we have been, and Uranus is helping support that with bringing in new ideas, and this new moon as well. This new moon in Gemini, bringing in new ideas.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a huge stellium, really. 5. Well, of course, we're including Sedna, but we'll get to Sedna, because Sedna is really effective, and it is we'll talk about it in a bit. Okay. Well, right here, I guess we're going to talk about it now, because we have Uranus and Sedna square the nodes. I know that we talked about this last week with Jen Sachs, and I'm a little difficult keeping my itinerary straight, because, again, we're pre-recording for this vacation juncture, which actually is a great opportunity. I mean that in a positive way. When you have an assignment, it's just like life. Life is giving me an assignment. You do it, and then you get a gift later. You have that time that you get to use for something else. And besides that, you can learn, and I'm going off on this, I can learn better techniques, because you have to produce. So perhaps it's just do a bunch of the same thing rather than a little. It's like going to the grocery store. Go once in a while and get all your groceries. Don't go every day. Isn't that how you save money? It seems like that's
and
time. Here all the time. Yeah. But here, go ahead.
Yeah, and with Uranus square the nodes, it's we're moving away from the Virgo South node, and we're moving towards the Pisces North node. And the way to resolve this Uranus tension is to really kind of surrender to the mystical intelligence of the universe, and the kind of allowing your inner genius to come forward, and really flowing with it.
We're moving intuitive.
We're moving towards surrender, intuition, spiritual trust, and this idea of genius and spirituality. Those can work together very easily. They are not necessarily separate things.
No. Here also, see, the green is a quincunx, so it is like as we're going to the North Node, which is unity, imagination, uh, inclusivity, in the sense that I was reading an idea that it's and both, that Pisces is capable of not just absorbing necessarily, but handling both things, whereas some people are straight like a horse, straight ahead. But Pisces is no, that's okay, bring it in. But
Yeah.
look at that value system, and Venus, which is what we attract in our desires and what we find is beautiful, and it's conjunct Jupiter, which makes everything big. But they're in different signs. But it's actually, it is Venus that is in conjunct, not Jupiter, come to think of it. So it's our values. I would think, as we're with Uranus.
Well, and Venus is just moving to Leo, and sometimes Leo is a bit subjective, and it can't quite see the big picture, and that's where it kind of there's a disconnect with that Pisces energy, and that's that quincunx where we're trying to adjust, and sometimes we may not be able to fully see it at this point, but just to kind of allow yourself to, given that this is a new moon, just allow yourself to kind of ask some questions. It's that
Be curious, perhaps, yes.
Absolutely.
Because if it's disruptive, because I'm thinking Uranus is definitely disruptive. It's disruptive just by the way that it orbits.
It's nature, yeah. Yeah.
It's his job. He needs to bring attention to what needs to be brought attention to.
Yeah.
Here we have Sedna. Now, I prepared this particular slide for one about vibrational astrology, but in astrology, like all conversations, there's a different angle to bring attention to. But Uranus, and they don't really connect that often, Amanda. I forget now what, but it's because the orbit with Sedna is 11,406 years. It's huge. And what Linda had found out is that Uranus, she looked at the conjunctions, and then because there's many signs besides Gemini, it's just that they're not in Gemini for that period of time, but with the opposition, and it disrupts. Uranus totally disrupts and brings out all kinds of things from Sedna that is this perhaps deep reservoir of, because 11,000 years, it's a huge, just imagine what it's taken in since the Ice Age. And then at the half point, just like the full moon, it resurrects it. In other words, it resolves it, like Hitler. Yeah, historically, so many things. Hitler was in power in 1931, and then in 1975, those are the years, the EU was formed, and they wouldn't war against each other, which I think is phenomenal, because think of Europe. It's warred. I mean, it's been at war ever since Rome, or before Rome. It'd be with Alexander the Great, and before that, maybe Genghis Khan. I mean, that piece is amazing.
Yeah, and Sedna is like like your slide says, it's that it's really ancient ancestral memory, and it's like this deep ocean memory. And we all can tune to that deep ocean memory. It's like when everyone's seen the image of the iceberg that's floating above the water, and then the majority of it is beneath.
Yes.
It's this deep unconscious knowledge that we have within ourselves. And I mean, are we going to go into the mythology of this?
Okay, I'll continue. Yes. And then here is the orbit. I know I have a series, so thank you for leading us on.
Yeah.
This, as we can see, is the blue. It is so elliptical. It's coming to its closest point in 2076, which is 50 years from now. And the last time it was the closest was 11,000 years ago, which is because it's 11,400 cycle. And that's a little red dot. The yellow is the sun, the green are all the planets, and the purple, I believe, is Pluto. So you get an idea of the extremity. And besides that, it's also elliptical. I mean, it's also at an incline. Pluto always is, but Sedna, I believe, is more. So that's what we're dealing with. And here is, the shall I begin it, or do you want to?
Yeah, you go. Right
okay.
ahead. I'll maybe jump in.
It's an Inuit mythology, and marriage, young, always is a matter of partnership. You endure the hardships because the Arctic is extremely challenging, as any historian, anybody would know. The explorers that tried to make it and couldn't, but the Inuit have made, and also the Sunni over there in Norway, all those countries. She couldn't find a suitor. She finally did have one, and he took her away on the canoe, but it turned out that she was isolated. And not only isolated, he wasn't what he appeared. He was a bird king. That song, The Bird, 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 comes to mind. But at any rate, and it caused her just a lot of troubles because his way of eating wasn't her way of eating. She had scarcity. She was very unhappy, very alone, very isolated. It was just dreadful. Now, we have to remember, looking at this objectively, that ideas, birds represent ideas in spirit. So when you think of that, it has a deeper meaning. Well, she begged her father. Now, how she got a hold of her father, I don't know, because he wasn't on the island, but she got a hold of him, and she begged her father to save her, and he did. He came over in his canoe, but the Bird King found out, and he was very upset. All his friends out, and they just made havoc, and the waves were horrible. Well, the father, not such a good guy, threw the girl overboard. He didn't jump over to save her. No, he threw her over. Well, she clams on and with her little fingers, and it even gets worse, and he cuts her fingers off, and down she goes into the sea. But it turns out that she was, yes, forcibly released, and that's part of this Sedna experience, is that you cling desperately to whether it's your traditions, whether it's whatever it is, your circumstance, but yet it isn't your path. It isn't what you need. And there's something there that finally goes, you surrender, to use that word, you let go, or it forces you. And so the ideas weren't hers, neither was the conditioning, but she transformed. She hadn't been a goddess. It's like other stories like Persephone that became transformed so that she could offer gifts. And what she did was she sustained the Inuit. Although they had sort of a tumultuous relationship, they had to comb her hair and appease her, but however that goes. But it was, I understood through Rob with Linda that he spoke with an Inuit person just before the program and said that, if I have this right, that it's through suffering, which is really how she had. So there's some kind of concept, and I think it's interesting that it's with Uranus, because in EA, which we do, evolutionary astrology, sudden changes, and also this abrupt process that Uranus has to see the moment and just clear the deck to get you onto the right path, can be very upsetting when you have all these attachments and everything else. It's not what we signed up for. Is that comment? Don't want to buy that T-shirt.
Yeah. And I think we forgot to mention that with Uranus square the nodes, we've got Sedna right there. So there's this breaking free from this this kind of traumatic energy and this traumatic suffering that this Sedna archetype has gone through. And I had mentioned that deep ocean memory that Sedna holds, and that we all hold within us. And part of that transformation is where she, through that traumatic experience, she transformed and went deep into the ocean. And that ocean is our unconscious, and she became the sea goddess there. And so we're kind of reclaiming, and Uranus is helping shake free some of this deep ocean memory for us, and this deep power that is within the sea, within our unconscious for us.
Yeah, beyond what we even can comprehend, isn't it?
Yes. Goddess under the sea. It's like, what deep power do we have within us that is available, that is working its way toward the surface for us? And with that, with Uranus, both of them resolve through the North Node. So it's through that flow. And interestingly, the North Node in Pisces is the energy of the ocean.
Absolutely.
And so there's this just like flowing with that process and that system, and which isn't going to necessarily feel super comfortable, but the more we allow it, the more the insights are going to come in, especially in this.
If we can learn to adapt and be mutable, in that sense, because they are both mutable signs too. And I guess we'll take a break in just a moment. But if we can be mutable and adapt and let things fill, like the container, you think you have a container, but maybe the container looks a little strange. It's not what we thought it was. Will it hold the water? You know how or whatever. In other words, what we receive, whatever it is, to accept and be creative, go with it, see what the best side is. It's a process.
Yeah, and to look for like the repeating patterns or the repeating messages that come to us during the period. That's usually a sign of being in the flow, and like that's good information, which goes back to that Sabian symbol of a man trimming palms. Like, discern what is the right information to take in right now for yourself.
Ooh, wonderful. We'll take a quick little getaway. You have a few moments here, but come right back because there is the full moon, and I'm with Amanda Pierce. Talk Cosmos today. Okay, we'll see you in a moment. Thanks.
While we take a break from this week's edition of Talk Cosmos, let's take a look at this cycle's archetype. We are currently in the period of Gemini. By leaving a cycle based on physical form, integrated through spirit, the energy of Gemini connects spirit with matter, focused on communicating and defining the external. Gemini is a mutable air sign signifying flexibility. Gemini dually focuses upon teaching and learning in order to synthesize the world one lives within.
Talk Cosmos ignites insightful conversations to awaken heart and soul consciousness with hour-long programs every Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific on KKNW. Also available to watch live on the Talk Cosmos YouTube channel and Facebook page. While you're there, make sure you click their like and subscribe buttons so you get the full Talk Cosmos experience. You can listen to earlier podcasts since 2018, either on most podcast carriers or under the video tab on Talk Cosmos YouTube. To join our expedition and find out about upcoming programs, sign up for the newsletter at talkcosmos.com and launch your week into the cosmic wonder.
This is Martha Norwalk. Every Sunday morning, beginning at 9 a.m., thanks in part to the Whispering Dragon Center and Shoreline, we cover the world of animals. This week, it's Behavior Training and Healing Sunday with me, and talk with your human or animal loved ones on this side or the other, and private readings with Natasha. Hope you can join us and plan to call in with your questions for either one of us. Martha Norwalk's Animal World, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to noon, right here on Alternative Talk, AM 1150.
Wherever you go, Alternative Talk 1150 is here for you.
Okay, we are back again, and Amanda Pierce can be reached at amandamoonastrology@gmail.com, and I'm info at Talk Cosmos. And there's a whole slew of very fascinating ones if you're interested in the dwarf planets or with Chiron. Next week will be Chiron in Taurus, but there was this wonderful conjunction with Mars. And then, of course, the quite a bit about Uranus. And, oh, you know what? I just realized you haven't, never mind. I'm jumping. Any rate, time travel. That's what we do. That's what I talked about. Okay. Laura Tad created this moon journal, and it has pages and prompts and meditations involved, and it's open to start at any time. You can find that at her website, mythicsky.com. This full moon, same thing, out of bound moon, is slightly down. The other one was 2758. It's gone down about 45 degrees. Yeah, because there's minutes, 45 minutes, because there's 60 minutes, 60 degree minutes in a, never mind, in a degree. Yeah. Okay, let's go on. That's June 14th. You know, that's wrong. It's June 29th. I know we just
That's
talked about
correct.
that.
You're right. It is June 29th.
All the details in life. Oh dear. Well, okay. 8 degrees Capricorn full moon is out of bounds. It's square. Saturn and Neptune. This is a great graphic, Amanda. I like it. You did well. So anything you'd like to say?
I don't think there's anything quite yet. We can, once we get to the chart.
Okay, that's fine, because they are the idea that, you know, we have goat and a ram. They're actually two different animals here. Or a sea goat, too. He had a tail until he lost it going up the mountainside. And then old okie doke. Sabian symbol, 1 degree more. This is a fascinating one, an angel carrying a harp.
Yeah, I like this. I like this Sabian symbol with this Capricorn energy, because it's like a harp is an actual physical instrument. It's here, it's physically on the earth plane, and it's something that we can use and do to like bring forward the beauty and love and harmony that we would like to see in our lives. And that's what Capricorn wants. It wants to make a physical difference here in our world.
I think it was Rod Stewart that was on PBS, and he had a harp in one of his, you know, she played that thing. It was just amazing. I just heard it a while back, because I play the violin, but here you have all those strings.
Yeah, it's such a celestial sound, right? And it works really well with this moon square Neptune Saturn. It's this vision and this dream that we want to bring into this reality. That's the Neptune Saturn square, or Neptune Saturn conjunction, I mean.
And I always appreciate energy such as this is so distinct to say, tune into the universal. So if we're going to the North Node in Pisces, this is another encouragement to say, stop the fragmentation, stop categorizing this and separating our differences. Look at something, even in life, what has a common thread, and blend with it. You know?
Yeah, and the new moon in Gemini, you know, it's a period of bringing in new ideas, fresh information. And here in the full moon, we're being asked to maybe put that into practice a little bit more. So these ideas that we're starting to generate in the new moon period are, there's a lot of potential for that to come into fruition in our real world.
Very encouraging. I do have some ideas. I'll keep working. So it's 8 degrees, 15 minutes, and it is on the 29th. My apologies, folks. As it states here, and it's in the evenings, almost 8 o'clock, 7:57 p.m., and that's located in Washington, D.C. So Saturn and Neptune are still very active. They're 10 degrees apart, but they're still active. They're both, and in some ways, that moon is as you have pointed out, exactly in the midpoint between those two. So it's working both sides. So it's 8. So it's 5 on one, 4.5 on one side, 4.5 on the other side. And that's a strong energy. In vibrational astrology, any planetary, they call them circuits, and they all have to be 3 planets. That's where behavior changes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So there's a rule of 3 with it.
Yes.
Okay.
They have pairs, and that's how you can understand and diagnose it more, for lack of a better word. But it doesn't have any really connection unless there's like 3 that are combined. And they have certain ideas. It's either through trines, sextiles, or squares and oppositions. There are yeah, go ahead.
I believe the Greeks thought of the number 3 as a number of completion, because it is the first, it makes a triangle, which is the first complete structure that can be built with lines.
And who was it? There was somebody, I just saw that 3, 6, 9 are their magic numbers. And at one time I went off on that. I get these little brainstorms. Oh yeah, and I figured it all out, and I have no idea what it indicated. But yes, 3s have always.
Yeah. Well, and just this Saturn and Neptune conjunction and this moon square that midpoint to them. And a midpoint is it's the combined energy of the two.
It's like a hinge. It's like a hinge.
Yeah.
And it works here and it works there.
Yeah. And so this really brings us back to that Saturn Neptune conjunction point, which was at the 0 degrees of Aries, and this new dream that we are looking to birth for ourselves and create a structure for our new reality that is authentically correct for us. And this moon in Capricorn, the moon in Capricorn, it's ultra responsible. It wants to take care of things, and there can be a tendency to want to just be focused on, okay, well, I gotta take care of the bills, and I've got this to do, and this and this and this and this, and kind of push the dream aside. But it is going to come into our energetic, and we're going to notice it. We're going to notice if we're not paying attention to it at this period. And so, there's kind of an ask from the universe to make this part of what you're accountable for in your life.
It's because it is a culmination. Thank you for this as a reminder. We planted that seed, as you had indicated, which we do every new moon, and that's the gift of it. It has a certain energy and an archetype and where it sits in our chart, but it gives us a possibility. And here we see the culmination. And, like that palm trimmer, you may want to cut like discernment that you've wisely been mentioning, but more powerfully is just what you said.
Well, and going back to the Sabian symbol for this full
work
moon,
that we can achieve, that we can be our own authority, that we can really be accountable, not just accountable, but efforts will work. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and that it is, it is our responsibility. Like this is that Capricorn energy is taking responsibility of what we want to, what dream we want to put out into the universe, and how we want to live. And that goes back to this Sabian symbol of an angel carrying a harp. That's like creating the dream, using the tools. And that's that Saturn Neptune energy.
And again and again, it seems that the messages, because there are so many domino messages happening, Uranus went to Gemini, and there were special aspects before that. And this month now we'll find, we have Chiron ingressing Taurus the day after no, it's this day that it actually ingresses. And tomorrow, the next day, on the 30th, Jupiter goes into Cancer. So they're all at 0 degrees. It's like a fresh, open slate of energies, along with the other earlier, and the nodes still at their, because they go in reverse. So it's very energetically.
Yeah. It's there's a lot shifting in this in the cosmos right now, or during this full moon period. And I love that you brought up Chiron being in Taurus, because I think that's a really big piece for us to look at. And
after 8 years, pardon me for jumping, but yes, it's been in 8 years in Aries. So this is, of course, it'll only be there for a couple of months, and then it'll finally in 27 stay. But it is a big piece. Go ahead.
Yes, it's our first taste of the Chiron in Taurus energy. And then it moves out September 17th back into Aries, and then it will be back for the majority of its stay in April of next year.
And what I love, and we will talk about this with Tracy Quinlan from Canada. She does acutonics, and that's with Laura Ted in 2 weeks actually. But it's abundance and scarcity, self-worth and value. And I was thinking here, for 8 years, we finally decided, I think each one of us, and collectively as a nation, because that's where our Chiron is too, and it's in Aries as a nation, that yes, it is good and fine and wonderful to be oneself. Actually, I keep saying Talk Cosmos has been on for 8 years, but now, am I enough? Do I not, to not feel, to avoid, to shift that concept of lack, that worry of self and all. And that goes along with the South Node also.
Well, yeah, and I think that's beautiful. And, when Chiron was in Aries, we were healing so much around survival. And when you're in survival, you don't have the capacity to look at self-worth issues. It's and so there's this energy of, when you move from Aries into Taurus, there's a little more capacity to start looking at your value system, and looking at issues of worth, and where you don't feel safe when it comes to material resources, and areas where you feel like you may need to accumulate or hold or control resources in order to feel safe. Those are pieces that are going to start coming up for all of us. Yeah.
And emotions with Capricorn is like, because when story is very lunar, we create a story around our emotions and our memories, and it's the traditions of Capricorn. And so I wonder, really, we'll be looking at our traditions. Are they serving us, or are we feeling it just locked in, trapped by them, Mercury retrograde. That's another thing happening. Perhaps I had said, and that's on the 29th, the same day as Chiron. So, and the full moon is station retrograde. So on the 30th is going to be Jupiter. And it's a water sign. We have all this air and fire, but this is where our attachments. What are we attached? What are we protecting? Does it need to be protected? Perhaps we've outgrown that need to be concerned about that.
I'm going to bring up Uranus and Gemini again, because
Yay. Go. I'm listening.
This is just a month where that energy is just kind of going to be coming forward, and Mercury is kind of ruling this Uranus in Gemini, because Gemini is a Mercury ruled sign. So Mercury going retrograde there's going to be some space for us to digest a bit of like the Uranus and Gemini onslaught of information and data that's coming at us. So it's a time to really feel into it because of this Cancer energy, you know, and so it may not be super a period of where we're super linear in our thinking, because Cancer is not, it's not linear energy. It's
emotions.
Emotions, and it's kind of circular,
interconnected. Yeah.
And
well, remember in
the
first one on the 14th, Mercury and the Moon are mutual reception, so they're talking to each other. Now that's not the case for this one here. Yeah. But and I had something else on my brain and it just went away.
But it can be a very potent time during this particular retrograde because of that Uranus and Gemini.
Energy. Cancer needs to process. That's what I'm thinking. It's always a constant. You know, in some form, there's a natural, like a flower, or like the moon, that just naturally is going to get full and then wane and then become new. It never shifts. You know, it's as standard as you can get. And so any Cancerian energy needs to fulfill that sense of, you know, like sometimes if you pick a bud and it hasn't opened, it doesn't open. It's just stays that way. Yeah.
Or if you pick a fruit too soon and it doesn't ripen afterwards.
Yeah, like they try.
Yeah, so I think I'm a really big fan of Mercury retrograde in general, just because it does give us a chance to integrate information that maybe came in too quickly for us, and we get like a second chance.
Yeah, piece it together in the story, put a new story, particularly because Jupiter is now entering Leo. So instead of trying to think of how to protect ourselves and create this nest or this womb for protection, we can begin to go out and be the creative, more of a creative energy or legacy, or all the things that we think about. You know, also because remembering that this is going to go on the 14th. And here, the retrograde period starts on the 12th. So it's been active for 2 days. You know, it's essentially not that long, but like other retrogrades. But it from what it says here, and I got this from Catherine Urban Astrology. I edited it slightly. I just added it in. She's a gal that's over there in not Indiana. I think maybe Indiana. Oh boy, I should know. But anyway, the mid-east there, mid-east west. So good astrologer, very good astrologer. And it's a longer period of time. I hadn't considered that with Mercury, but it extends. The retrograde is longer in this, which anyway, well, you just do what you have to do when you do it. But it does begin on the 12th, and then it will go direct again on July 23rd, which is about 5 weeks. 14. No, yeah, it's about 6 weeks later. 6 weeks, yeah. So it'll be retrograde. Okay. What a bunch of energies. We have Sedna that's changing and it's a big drama. Sedna doesn't just come in and say, okay, well, it can. Your fingers are gone. You got to do something different or become who you are. But but we can't project that it's going to be on that day. It's a series of events that kind of just builds and goes, and you shift with it. So we're shifting all together because it's such an outside planet. You know, that Oort belt is way out there.
Yeah, and the further out the planets or the planetary bodies are, the more they're operating on an unconscious level, and so the deeper that information is, and so it's not going to be front and center like maybe the moon or Mercury when those.
And that's why we have the moon. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there are there are gradations of how quickly we can access that information. And so it may take a while to kind of bubble up and come
Mm.
forward for us.
But Mercury is active. When you think about it, it's we have in the new moon, Mercury is working with the moon, and the moon's out of bounds. So the moon is probably quite talkative with with
Definitely.
Mercury.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then on the full moon, it's station retrograde. So it's like, okay, I got this. I'm listening. I'm going to just sort of pause a little bit. And so I wonder, are we revising our life story? It sort of feels like that. It's like trying to look at things not quite so personally, like it was meant to hurt us. Well,
Yeah.
depending on what it is.
And that's such a great Uranian energy as well, to like really get into a healthy space of detachment, you know, because it's not personal. And even when people hurt us, it's
that individual that is lacking in some way or not sensitive to who we are. And with Aries, that's very important. We have the 2 planets in Aries, specifically, Saturn and Neptune. And again, in vibrational astrology, David Cochrane, because some of these core ideas are so true. But he discovered that with Aries, they actually reject a combat. What they really want is just to lead their own life and have honesty and to have people see them for who they are. That's what you reminded me about saying. So in other words, it's like if somebody's, so your company, I think that's very important, that as we're making these changes, we're going to look for people in a community that perceives who we are deeply. How some people, maybe you've known them since childhood, or if not, but are there's just people that you meet that just intuitively get you.
Yeah. Well, and what a beautiful Neptune, Saturn, and Aries dream to hold for ourselves. That Aries, like people seeing who we truly are. Like, that's gorgeous. I love that.
And being able to interact, and then something comes out of that, a new definition of life, a new experience, or a new possibility to achieve. And they don't have to be huge things. I say this because I know depending, a person might wonder, well, where to begin. But any little step, just like dominoes, changes something.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's sometimes what these planetary changes are about when they change signs. It's like it's go ahead, Sue.
Well, I'm looking at the chart. Remember, you wanted to talk about Mars and Uranus. And I waited to right now.
Mars and Uranus. Oh, did I?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm interrupting.
I didn't have that down, but what I can say about Mars and Uranus, Mars is going to it's going to amp up the energies, because it's like adding it's like pushing on the gas pedal. So it's here, it's conjunct with Uranus and Sedna. So all of those pieces that we're working through that we just mentioned. And now Mars is going to come in and really bring this edge to it, where we're really going to want to take charge for ourselves.
Yeah, act.
Yeah.
Take a step.
Yeah.
They always say the first step is the largest, right? In 1,000 steps. I mean, how do you get somewhere? It's the first of 1,000 steps. But I think it can be so simple. It's doing something, just changing a routine. Changing a routine. Don't you think that's South Node 2, where we have to? I think we're about to close out here.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been exciting. Once again, I thank you, Amanda Pierce.
Yeah. I like this new moon and this lunar phase month. There's a lot of potential here, so I'm excited about it.
Well, I'll miss you next month. I know you're going away, and I might get somebody to replace otherwise just for that time, or I might just talk about a bunch of things about moons, and I'll figure it out. But
Yeah,
in the
well,
meantime,
I'll be excited to be back in August.
good. Yeah. Well, everybody, may your solstice, may your full and new moons bring you some kind of gratification in the depths of your heart that's got embers in it, right? Flaming.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining this vibrant and insightful conversation on Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her guests awaken consciousness by connecting heart and soul consciousness patterns with astrology's energetic cycles. Be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place, to continue your journey through the roots of the cosmic pathway.